Question for you. Is it possible for one person to change the world? And if so, what requirements for the person and the environment are there? Hey philosophers, I'm Jonas, and this is Philosophy Friday, the place where we ask difficult questions and expect you to answer anyway. What is this, math class? Be sure to stick around to hear the question for next week so you can be part of the conversation. Also, we're a brand new channel and we're giving away swag. Stay till the end for details. Today's question: what is needed for one person to change the world? We can all think of things we believe should be different in this world. To enumerate them all now would take far longer than we have time for in 50 videos, but I'm pretty sure you have a couple in mind right now. So, can we change those things? And if so, how? Let's first look at our community for guidance. Helen Wood writes on Threads, "Everyone changes the world, just by being in it." Jean B writes, "Yes, it's possible for one person to change the world." Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." So yes, anyone can change the world. We've seen bad examples from history. Who's to say that one man fighting for good cannot do the same? Jean also points out that religious figures have changed the world, and that's absolutely true. But the question remains, how? Maybe it's a small thing, but I'm certain you can make the word a little better by hitting like and subscribe. Josh R writes, "I definitely think single people can change the world in noticeable ways, sometimes big ways, although maybe not in a way that affects every single person. I think for it to be possible, someone just needs reach. I think the most common way people do that is to be a high-up political leader, like a president to a major country. But people who are obscenely rich have a lot of reach as well. Then there can be people who make noticeable changes in the world without being very visible, like someone who makes a breakthrough or invention that becomes widespread, or a building block that makes bigger things possible. The only examples I can think of right now are negative, the biggest one being a certain very conservative billionaire who has spent their life buying up news stations, both local and larger news stations, newspapers, etc., and has them slowly convert over time to be more and more politically active and polarized. And I also feel like that person, and others with similar interests, have made it possible to have certain recent leaders that have had what I consider a very negative effect on their country, where the effects ripple out to all sorts of other areas of the world." S.K. Salindi writes on Threads, "For one person to make a change, they need to be a natural leader, an inspiration, doing nothing but bettering the world for everyone, not for money, fame, or power, a person that anyone could stand behind and respect, regardless of any differences involving the meaning of their own lives. I don't know if one single person can do it without love and support for others." In short, the hard work one person could make would make no difference unless we all willingly followed their lead and supported the greater movement, something we all agreed on. For me, this isn't a question of whether someone can change the world in big ways. We've seen lots of examples of both good and bad change. For example, Martin Luther King Jr., who opened the eyes of a generation to the dangers of racism, or Adolf Hitler, who literally convinced an entire country that a specific race of people were bad and that they should be exterminated. This should definitely be considered a bad example. But it's obvious to me that people can and do change the world. The more interesting question to me is how, and more importantly, how people can change the world for good. I'm going to tell you a secret. Our world can really suck. There are good parts and beautiful parts, but there's also a lot of bad things that some inhabitants do to other inhabitants. We have the obvious things like war and violence, but equally pernicious in my mind is people going hungry or without the medical care they need, despite living in a country or world that can provide those things pretty easily. If you're able, I think it's important to donate to charities and help people out when they need it. Those are the things that help our world out the most. Of course, unless you have untold wealth, the contributions you make will be minor. So what does someone need to change the world in a bigger way? When I first posed this question, I was looking for a list of things people could do or be that would help them to change the world for good. But the more I thought about it, the more I think there's a lot of possibilities. One characteristic of this person I think is highly likely is their willingness to listen to other people. It's way too easy to get trapped in our own echo chambers where we hear what we want to hear and so we believe it must be true. But wanting something to be true doesn't make it true. A true reformer knows this. And so this means a few things. They will listen more than they talk. They will think deeply about what they say. And perhaps more importantly, they'll ask themselves hard, challenging questions such as, do I think this is true because I want it to be true? What evidence is there that my opinion is false? What premises of my opponent's arguments have merit? Basically, they will ask, am I wrong? Looking for counter evidence in particular will help a lot of people. But being willing to think about the possibility that you might be wrong isn't enough. You have to be willing to admit to others and change as a result. Basically, honesty, earnest reflection, and humility are crucial. Other things that I think would be helpful are charisma, caring, and a willingness to work with people who don't think like you. For the last characteristics, I wanted to share the story of Jonas Thoughts. He was the scientist in the 1950s who developed the polio vaccine. Polio was a devastating disease that caused disabilities in children. Salk, driven by a deep sense of responsibility and compassion, worked tirelessly to develop a vaccine that would put an end to the epidemic. But it wasn't just his scientific brilliance that made the difference. It was his humility and selflessness. Those traits in and of themselves make Salk awesome, but what makes him heroic is that after he created the vaccine, he refused to patent it, famously saying, "Could you patent the sun?" He didn't want to profit from something that could save millions of lives. This decision ensured the vaccine would be affordable and widely available, ultimately eradicating polio in most of the world. So what characteristics are needed for one person to change the world? Salk shows us that it's a combination of passion, persistence, and a genuine desire to improve humanity without the need for personal gain. Changing the world isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the one who cares enough to do the work and share the benefits with everyone. You can be that person too. So what do you think? How can one person change the world? Comment your thoughts. While you're there, you can post your answer to next week's question. Is it better to be rich and generous or poor and generous? Add your answer to the pinned comment below. If you like this video, then join our conversation in the pinned comment for a chance to be featured on next week's video. Our community needs people like you to make these videos possible. Again, next week's question is it better to be rich and generous or poor and generous? Thanks for watching and keep questioning. I wanted to take a moment and show you some of the awesome swag we have for Philosophy Friday. There are polo shirts like this one, hoodies, mugs, notebooks, and t-shirts like this one. I absolutely love this t-shirt of Socrates on a half pipe. You can see all the awesome swag that Philosophy Friday has available. Just click on the link to the store at philosophyfriday.com. Also, to celebrate the launch of Philosophy Friday, we're giving out free memberships where you can get discounts and free swag. So you can get yourself the same t-shirt for free if you win. To enter, subscribe and fill out the form. There's a link in the description. And comment on videos. You'll be entering into a drawing to win one of 15 different Philosophy Friday memberships worth up to $300. The earlier you enter, the more chances you have to win. Winners will be announced on the channel and via email. See the rules and the form to fill out in the description.